I'm sorry. Farrell would like to give out some birthday cards for our members.
We have birthdays coming up. James Russell is October the 11th.
Which is Saturday.
I'll be 21.
Dr. Eggleston has his birthday on October the 13th. He will be 22. We'll send one to Joe Handler, who was our longtime treasurer. His birthday is the same as Dr. Eggleston's, October the 13th.
Okay, thank you, Farrell. And now we have an installation of our officers. So can I have Chris, Ardina, and Farrell and myself up here with Bill Wisdom. Bill is our lieutenant governor for our district. So,
Thank you.
okay.
Before I get started, though, I'm going to just do a little quick thing here. That at the Q4 district meeting, you guys didn't get to go, did you?
No, we had another obligation.
Governor Randy, the brand new governor, Randy Bales, talked about an experiment that he did with AI. He asked Chat GPT for a short elevator speech explaining Optimist clubs. This is what he got. It says, Optimist clubs are volunteer organizations made up of people who want to make a positive impact in their communities, especially for youth. We are part of Optimist International, whose mission it is to bring out the best in our youth, our communities, and ourselves. Through service projects, mentorships, and scholarships, we create hope and opportunity for the next generation. Simply put, optimists are people who choose to see the good, be the good, and do the good. That was the end of it, and I kind of wonder where that AI stuff was in 1970. I could have used that when I was in school. I'm darn sure. Okay, so these four members
Yes.
have agreed to provide the leadership and inspiration, inspired, recognition, and initiative necessary to elevate your club. This looks like a really great group, and it's experience. There's some experience in this group. So Nita as president, Ron can't be with us, but he's our vice president. Farrell is the secretary. I'll probably butcher your name.
That's okay. Ardina.
Wow, I was close. Names are my suit. Is your treasurer, and then Chris is your OI Foundation rep. So I'll ask you to raise the hand of your choice, and I'm going to say something, and then at the end of it, you will say, I do. Okay? Say, do you hereby solemnly promise on your honor as Optimist that you will carry out the duties of the office to which you have been selected to the best of your ability, in loyalty to this club, and in harmony with the bylaws of this club, the Kansas District, and Optimist International? If so, say I do.
I do.
Okay. It is my privilege granted to me by you, the members, and also by Optimist International, to hereby declare each of you as officially installed in your respective offices. My compliments to each of you and best wishes, as Billy Crystal would say, have a simply marvelous year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One thing I also want to just mention real quick, Zone 3, which I am the Lieutenant Governor, consists of 7 clubs. It's McPherson, Great Bend, Concordia, Abilene, Manhattan, Salina, and then you guys, Junction City. And while all of these clubs are doing great things in their communities, this club, pound for pound, probably is the most visibly active. Your involvement in the JO clubs is groundbreaking in Kansas. You should be really proud of that. And you were the only honor club in the district last year, and it's my understanding it's a tour, right? You can repeat.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
I hope I didn't steal an announcement.
No, I don't think so.
So on behalf of Governor Bales and the district leadership, I congratulate this club on all that you do for Junction City and the area. Thank you.
So James got the picture, so we're good.
Watch out for the wire.
Did we do a formal welcome of Buzz?
Yes, we'd like to welcome back Buzz after his long absence during a health issue, but we'd like to welcome him back. Welcome, Buzz. We missed you. Okay. Farrell, would you like to introduce our speaker this morning?
I will. We are privileged to have the Kansas Superintendent of the Year from Kansas Association of School Boards. Congratulations, Dr. Eggleston. He gets a check and a free trip to wherever in your choice. Is that how that works? Or?
I haven't heard that
You
yet.
haven't heard that one.
I am eager to hear it.
Well, we're very, very proud to have you. You are the third of USD 475, Dr. Max Heim, Dr. Mary Devon in 1999, and now you. We're fortunate to have quality superintendents in our district. So without further ado, Dr. Reginald Eggleston.
Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's good to see you, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. I do appreciate it. It's been a great start of the school year. Let me say, every year you prepare for the unknowns, but you do prepare for what you know. We do know that each year, parents in our community will be sending their very best to us. And so this year we're hovering around 7,200 students, which is good for us. Ardina and I talk all the time. Our goal is to try to get up to about 7,500 students. We know that would be a really sweet spot when it comes to funding and keeping things up and running throughout the district. It's just important that numbers stay the way they should. They do matter. And we try to make sure that we're providing the best educational opportunities that we can for our young people. And that covers the whole spectrum. That's from pre-K on one end all the way to career technical educational classes on the opposite end when students walk across the stage and graduate. And so that's important. And this past year was the largest graduating class we had. We had over 400 kids. It was really around 416, 425. I mean, we had some students who graduated during the summer. They had to make up some courses. And so we added that to it, but really proud of the effort that's taking place at the high school. You think about it, 4 years ago when we opened the high school, prior to that, we were at around 1426. I remember that number. And as soon as we opened the doors, an additional 200 students arrived on the doorsteps of that school. And we're now hovering between 16 and 1700 students, which has been really good for us to be a large 6A school, to have students who are ready to compete, to have programs that prepare them to go out and do great things. And when we talk about leaving high school, we're really talking about preparing them for any options that exist: 2-year college, 4-year college, the military, going straight into the workforce. All of that is what we're trying to prepare our young people for. And so the opportunities are there. We just ask them to take advantage of it. We try to educate parents, make sure that they are aware, because if mom and dad can reinforce the conversations that are happening in the classroom, it's amazing at the productivity that we can see in students. But when there's kind of a one-sided message and no one else reinforcing it, some kids do fall through the cracks and miss out on opportunities. And the goal is to create as many opportunities as we can for all students. That's really what's important. When you think about the 21st century, a lot of the things that we enjoy, when you talked about Chat GPT and the chat and all of that, we didn't have all that going back 25, 30, 40 years ago. Now, that doesn't mean we turned out bad, but it just means this is a different generation that's motivated by a few different things. And so how do we prepare them to be productive citizens, contributing individuals who can live independently, make good decisions, be officers in the Optimist Club, be leaders in Topeka at the state level, go to DC? How do we prepare them? And that's by giving them a good education. It starts right there. And I believe, as a superintendent, as someone who was a high school principal, that if students can learn how to follow through with their assignments, be respectful, work in groups, these are the same skills business and industry says that they need in students as well. So we give you 12 years to practice, 13 years to practice when you think about it, from pre-K all the way to high school. We give you time to practice, develop those skills, fine tune those attributes that you need so that when you go out into the workforce, you're ready. You're ready. And today, most people need to work. I don't know about you, but when I graduated from high school, I had to go do something. It was an expectation that, Reginald, you're going to go do something, whether it was to work, to school, to the military, you're going to do something. And so I believe that the majority of our parents are trying to figure out what that something is going to be so that they can help their students. What I've provided to you today is a bingo card. And I normally share this card everywhere I go because it just highlights some of the things that we offer throughout the district. So number one up at the top, 15 career technical education programs. So we're trying to expose students to real world experiences prior to even graduating. So I use healthcare. We have students who are doing internships at the hospital. They go on post at IAC. They do it there as well, internships. I just met the commander of the dental clinic on post, who's very interested in students who live on post, taking advantage of that opportunity. But we're trying to create as many opportunities throughout Junction City, Fort Riley, Milford, Grandview that we can to give students opportunities to touch and feel and see and interact with professionals so that they can get a clear understanding what's in front of them. And let's think about that. If I have an understanding that I may want to do a particular thing, I can start aligning some of my coursework in high school to support me so that when I get to college, I'm ready. You know, if I need to be heavy in the math and sciences, there are plenty of those opportunities over there. If there are other things that I'm interested in, there are opportunities for that as well. So since 2012, we've had several new schools built in the district. We've used some of the funds from the federal government to help with the schools on post. And right now we're building or constructing an early childhood center. Has 32 classrooms, and we should be opening that in the fall of next year. So really excited about that. That's going to give us an opportunity to intervene and really help our 3 and 4 year old students. Right now, the research tells us that the more we can do with 3 and 4 year olds, well, really from 0 to 5 years of age, the better they're going to be when they get into school. They need parents reading to them. They need exposure. And all of that's so important. It's just very important. And so we're trying to make sure we have that. We've actually increased, I believe it's to 52 languages now within the district. So we have languages, I don't know all of them. My English language director keeps me abreast because we're always trying to find ways to translate and interpret the different languages to make sure we're communicating effectively with families. So that's there. The CAP. So this is something that a lot of people get hung up on, but I think is very important. The CAP represents the end of year assessments that we give our students. It's important. And I understand that a test seems to miss out on a lot of other things, but it is one of the mechanisms that is used to determine the level of effectiveness of a school district or an individual school as well. This past year, the State Department just recalibrated the Kansas assessment, the assessment test. And so we're going into a new year with a new assessment. And so excited about that. We have done well. We have been maintaining or above state average. And for a lot of people, they'll say, well, what does that really mean? Well, when you look at 475, 50% of our students are military connected. Every year we have new families rolling in and rolling out. And yet we're still able to maintain where we are. Now, what has that done? That has forced us to narrow our focus. We can't do everything. So we have to make sure that we're focused on the things that matter. Good, strong curriculum, professional development for teachers, solid programs. When families come to us, they really compare us a lot of times to the settings they just left. You know, they're thinking about kids who came from South Korea, Germany, Fort Hood, Washington, D.C., Alaska. So they kind of compare us to the offerings that they've experienced in other places. And when they hit the ground, they're basically saying, do you have this? Do you have this? Do you have this? And we want to be ready. And so one of the things that Ardina and I talk about all the time is we have to always be one step ahead of everybody. We have to be progressive. We have to be on the cutting edge. And I tell my people, because when someone knocks on the door and they say, do you have ABC? And we say we don't, they do an about face and they go where somebody else does. They're not going to wait on you to figure it out. They expect you to already have that in place. And so we're trying to be that progressive school district so that we can receive all who come and take care of the students who are with us as well, because we know that the other 50% of our students are in our local population. And we want to make sure that as they matriculate, they are getting the best offerings and opportunities possible as well. So we've had several blue ribbon schools over the last several years. You see the Purple Star designation. We were the first school district 4 years ago to have this designation as a Purple Star school district. And so that basically means we are a military-friendly institutional organization. That means a lot. When you look at it from a national standpoint, that is a designation that many families look at in order to determine, hey, is this a place that I want to be a part of? And so we are sensitive to that. And then you have what we've done for scholarships at the high school and then our facilities. So I think I've covered a lot in that short period of time. So I'll open the floor and answer any questions that anybody may have. Yes, sir. You always seem to have a question for me.
I'm not necessarily supporting something like this as the desire to have a swimming pool bundled up yet.
You know, it comes and goes, and it's a very expensive endeavor, and that's part of the reason why we have not jumped on it. We've talked to some of our local partners, and every now and then it surfaces, and then it doesn't. The needs of our students right now, as far as the swimming team, are being met at the YMCA. They've been going over there training. And when the YMCA was going through construction, they were actually going over to Fort Riley and using that facility. But that has not surfaced here in the last 2 years, I would have to say.
The other question is, the school reached over 50% of military benefits, extra benefits, money-wise.
So we hover at 50, 49.5, 50, 50.2. We constantly ebb and flow there. We try to definitely recruit everybody that we possibly can, and word of mouth means a lot. It does. It means a lot. And so the better the experiences that our military families have, the more that helps us recruit individuals to our area. So the answer to your question in short is we hover over that every single year. That's been what's happened since I've been here. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. What's the class size that you put into per?
It just kind of ebbs and flows. It depends on the grade span, grade level. We've tried to monitor that. So we have kind of open enrollment where you can transfer and move around to schools. And that sometimes can be challenging because it does require us to try to stay on top of what those sizes are. Anywhere between 18 and maybe 25, 26 could be a class depending on the location. Once they reach a certain threshold, 25, 26, 27, depending on the grade span, we will add a paraprofessional in there as well. Most of our schools, believe it or not, actually just don't have room to add another classroom. When we pull the early childhood classrooms out next year, that will give some of them, around 7 or 8 of them, a little bit of breathing room so that they can now have an extra room. But for the most part, we don't have extra rooms in buildings to actually add a new teacher or another teacher to their. Yes, ma'am.
How about dress codes? Are you working on that?
That has been a topic that comes up often, and so our principals do try to enforce it. I think they do a pretty good job. I think we're just dealing with a day and time where people are a little bit more what's the word I want to use? Liberal. Is that the way I should say it? And then it's almost like we're fighting something, because when you look at what's being sold in stores, that's exactly what they're wearing. Unfortunately, when we talk about the cuts and slits and stuff, yeah, if it's too much, they do send them home and tell them to put some additional clothes on. But we try to spend as much time on keeping them in school as we
Well,
possibly
and I
can.
find that if teachers dress accordingly, it would help the students. And my concern is we have some small towns that the schools could be closed, or that's just rumor.
At this present moment, nothing's going to happen at this time. We did have the discussion about closing Milford and Grandview.
I know.
And so we presented some data points to the board, and the board went through it and basically decided not to. I think what actually came out of the conversation was the communities actually said they would be willing to step up and take on some of the expenses. At least one community did said that they would look at cutting grass or doing something. But I want to make sure everybody kind of understands what's going on with that. You're talking about two schools with less than 80 students, and the amount of cost it takes to keep those buildings open is equal to what it would cost to keep a building with 200, almost 300 kids in. And so when you look at that, that's expensive. It is really expensive. And so from a district standpoint, when you're trying to just be a good steward of your resources, you look at those things. It doesn't mean that it's not important. Don't get me wrong, but you just have to look at how much you are spending on a building less than 100 kids in comparison to another building, because we have some elementary schools up to 600 kids. And what I pay per student in a small building compared to that is much more. So it's really, it's a lot that goes to it. It's not anybody picking on anybody. It's just looking at what the dollars and cents are saying. Good question, ma'am. I appreciate that.
Anybody else? I'm going to ask.
Go.
Okay. Are you going to go back to teaching the children to write, read, and do arithmetic more?
Well, that's been the focus all along.
Yeah.
That has been the focus of trying to make sure that they are getting those basic skills in place. Some have it better than others, I do admit, but we do our best to try to meet students where they are and to try to elevate them to the next level. Do we still have a lot of work to do? Absolutely. But I think part of it, and I'm learning this more and more, is schools can only do so much. It's going to require the community and parents being involved in this. When we have students who don't go to pre-K, many of them don't even go to kindergarten, it makes it tough to try to catch them up to where they should be when they walk in the door. And we're finding that that's the challenge for us right now, not just 475, but across the nation. I don't know if education is really at the high level that it once was. When I was growing up, when you were growing up, we were told that an education is how you're going to make it, how you're going to survive. That's going to be your ticket to a good job, to a good retirement. I mean, that's what I remember hearing and seeing. But I don't know if people say that anymore. We're in a day and time where people are so caught up in being an influencer and on Facebook and social media that sometimes I wonder what's the priority within our country. And I say that respectfully because we just have so many things that are distracting people and pulling them in so many ways that I wonder if we're getting away from some of the basics that really matter. But back to your point, yes, ma'am, we are trying our best to make sure that that is our focus and our priority. Go ahead, you're the only one asking, so keep going.
I've got lots of questions, but I'll let someone else.
I'm curious, when you opened up the high school 4 years ago and your enrollment increased by 200, where did that come from?
They came from some of them, I wonder if they've just been hiding. And then we did get a lot of students who moved in. A lot of military students came to us as well. So when you think about the communities here, Manhattan, probably 8 to 10% of their students are military connected. The rest of them come here to us, live on post, And so we want that. When Buzz was talking about hovering over that 50%, we're doing our very best to pull as many as we can. Now we have the open enrollment law in the state of Kansas as well. And as long as a student is in good standing, that means they don't have, tremendous discipline referrals, things of that nature where they've been expelled from school or something. We will bring them in as well because, again, all of that impacts our numbers, and numbers impacts the revenue that we are able to generate in order to keep the doors open. So, yes, sir, that's kind of what happened. They just came, and we're glad to have them. We're glad. We really need to get this building up to about 1750. That would be good.
Dr. Eggleston, do you suppose that COVID had some bearing on the increased enrollment when parents had to have their kids home with them?
I don't know. I've heard different stories that a lot of parents developed an appreciation for school because they had to keep them at home. But, we can say that since COVID in our community, it does appear that people had an appreciation for sending their students back. I would say the one thing or the one entity that we compete with probably more than anything in our community would be homeschool. And that's whether it's military or non-military. A lot of our military, because they move around a lot, prefer not to put their students in school. We this year opened our virtual school for the first time. So this year we open a virtual school. And it's very small, 15 to 18 students, only because we're trying to learn it. And we're listening to what other districts experienced during the early developments of it. We're not just throwing people in it just because they say, oh, I want to go there. Really, it's students who have medical needs, things of that nature that have been a challenge. And that's the group that we've been focusing and catering to when it comes to that. But yes, sir.
I think one thing that he neglected to share with you that makes our high school outstanding is we have a JROTC program that most schools in the area does not offer. And then we had gotten a DODEA grant with the help of Dr. Eggleston. He does a lot of things behind that he never takes credit for dual enrollment. So the DODEA grant pays for our kids to get dual credits through Cloud and Barton and stuff. So that's been a big draw, because if you can get some of your college credits paid for through a grant, it's going to bring kids in.
So has the new high school created a healthier student? Because that's a long hallway to have to walk.
It should be. When you walk a quarter of a mile one way to the other, you ought to be in good shape. You ought to be in good shape.
You ought to be getting.
Ardina brought up a good point. The dual enrollment piece, the purpose of that is to really expose young people to college prior to getting out. So if I'm a student, let's say I'm a first generation student in my family who's thinking about going to college, I can test the waters by taking a college class and really building some courage to go to school now. I know a lot of students take advantage of it, and what Ms. Booth, our principal, has done is you can only take 2 classes now that we will pay for, and then your parents will have to pay for the rest. And the reason for that is to spread it, to disperse it so that all students who are interested can have an opportunity to do it. We've had some students in the past who have actually earned an associate's degree. They started around their 10th grade year and started taking classes all the way until graduation and had earned it. Now, there's a game that you have to play with that, because if you're going to try to compete with your peers for scholarships and things of that nature, you may disqualify yourself because you've taken so many classes and you are no longer actually recognized as a freshman because of the number of credits you've earned. So if you earn more than a set number, you're no longer a freshman. You're going to walk in there possibly a sophomore, maybe even a junior. Because if you go to school during the summer, and I mean, moms and dads are paying for this, you really do disqualify yourself. So there's a balance there that we want. In addition to that, one of the things we're trying to do is look at AP classes, advanced placement classes. So last week I had an opportunity to interview about 25 to 30 freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. It was a great mixture in the classroom. And I just asked them, tell me about your experience here. Did you feel like middle school prepared you for high school? Do you like the course offerings, the activities? Do you feel safe? Tell me about the food. So just it gave them an opportunity to kind of cover everything with me and their experience. And really, students are quite honest, candid. You know, one young lady said, I wish that we had some more AP classes. And I appreciated that because I shared that with the principal to see if there's something going forward we can do. We've been working on our food service, trying to make our meals more attractive, and we got some good comments and feedback on that. So we're just trying to listen to everybody in order to create a better experience for all. And that's been kind of the gist of it.
Are you fully staffed at this point?
We are at this time. Now that does ebb and flow because sometimes we have individuals due to health conditions or maybe PCS and or just different circumstances, and we find ourselves having to go back and hire. But we started the year with only one vacancy, first time in probably my 7 years I've been here that we've been able to do that, and we filled that position. It was a special education position, and we were able about a month into the year to fill that vacancy. So we're hoping that we can continue to experience that level of success and that the supports that are in schools for new teachers, all of the professional development, that all of that will help us as we recruit individuals to come to the district.
The impact of the government shutdown.
At this present moment, it has not impacted us to the degree that it may have some other districts. But we basically have been keeping our doors open. With us being a public school district, we continue to operate just like everybody else. We make sure that, again, we have to look at our funding because, of course, it will impact that some way, somehow. But normally when you get a government shutdown, you just maintain level funding. And so you know what you have. You're not going to get more, but you know what you have. So you just work within the parameters that you have and you go from there. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Children that are homeless, how are you taking care of them?
So we have a homeless program that actually works with families. We also connect with community organizations in order to support them too and give them those names. Because realistically, there's only so much a school district can do for students who are homeless. I mean, we can provide extra tutoring, we can reach out to agencies to support them for clothes, to make sure, and we can make sure that opportunities are still there for them. But realistically, a homeless situation is much greater than a school district. It's a community challenge, and a community has to step up to do those things. We have what is called a community connections group that we send the students' names and families' names to, and they normally assist those families with clothing, shelter, transportation many times, as well as we try to do that is to support them. But I try to look at things from the standpoint of what can we do and who can we partner with in order to assist us with these needs, because that comes up a lot about homeless kids, about food, the food insecurity and everything. Realistically, a district can only do so much with that. That's a community wraparound that's going to have to occur in order to support those families.
Dr. Eggleston, superintendents don't always get a lot of love. How do you stay optimistic during all this chaos that's going on with the government?
A lot of prayer. A lot of prayer. And really being around positive people. I'm blessed to have a good staff, and we have a very open and candid set of discussions and an environment that gives us all a chance to really problem solve and come up with some solutions. One of the things that I tell my staff is we need to own what belongs to us, and that's educating kids. All of the other things that are happening into society, we can't own that. I don't try to take ownership of anything that's outside my lane. I get other agencies involved in it, but my goal is to educate kids. And then in addition to that, try to give parents what they need to be the best role models that they can.
That's a good point.
That's what I can do. I can't do anything other than that. And I think sometimes even teachers, everybody gets caught up with what's going on with someone's home life and all of that. And my heart goes out to students who may not have the best home life. But once they get on that bus and they go to their address. They belong to whoever they belong to. And that's kind of how I have to look at it. And the reason why I say that, and I want you to understand, I don't have a hard heart or anything, but I want my teachers to be focused on doing what we, have called them to do, which is educate kids. So between the hours of starting and finishing, I want to create the best set of conditions for our young people. And then hopefully that's enough to carry over to get them excited about returning the next day. That to me is what we are charged to do. And then again, the community, parents, friends, Optimist clubs, and other groups in the community are going to have to meet families where they are in order to make sure that they have those things. So, I was always taught it's kind of the dynamic trio, the schools, the families, and the community working together in order to raise children.
I knew you were going to say that your foundation is the Optimist creed, because that's what you live.
Yes, sir. I do. I love this. I truly do. I have a board member that tells me you are truly an optimist. I said, well, it takes a lot of energy to be it doesn't take a lot of energy to be negative. It really doesn't. It's all around. You turn the news on, you read your emails, but to really be optimist, to have an optimistic outlook on things, you have to work with it, and you have to really surround yourself with some positive, good people who are encouraging and who see the big picture. You have to in this day and time. So I appreciate what you guys do. So thanks so much. Yes, sir. I know
I have
you.
a question. Not kind of a question, but I've been in the school district a long time. I was under our first superintendent, Max Hine, then Mary Devon, and then you. And I can honestly say to you that, I got to see all three of you, and I don't think anybody has worked any harder than you. And I really want to,
I
say that.
appreciate it. Thank you.
And then I'm going to say this, I don't know if you remember, but we were at the Carnes building one day, and, we were setting up for some stuff, and you walked up to me and you said, "How are you doing?" I said, "I'm doing great." I said, "The only way anything could get any better is I have to be you." And you looked at me, you're like, "I don't think you want to be me." But I appreciate what you're doing. But one of the things I think the school district falls short in is that you don't toot your horn enough. I don't think people have any idea how much you do that's really outside the school district for people. The example is like the program I was with, like the Boys and Girls Club. City lost the funding, the school district picked it up. Then it kind of turned into an after-school program, and it's with the Y now, but now it's kind of like for those families that don't have anywhere else for childcare. I don't think people understand it. There's probably 70 families that wouldn't have childcare if it wasn't for the school district. And
Yes.
you're right, it's not your role, but I could go on and on about all the other things that you guys do. I just don't think that, you guys toot your horn loud enough. I know you got it there somewhere. You might want to put your hand on it, and there are people that do realize it, and we just don't say it enough. So I just wanted to say that,
No, thank
you support you.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, can we go in the back? We're gonna do the presentation, sir. Ardina also?
Well, I'm taking a picture too.
Oh, okay.
I got that job for today.
Oh, okay.
Words. I know.
So do you want to adjourn the meeting before we do this, or
I'm
That
sorry?
would be nice.
can we adjourn the meeting before we do this?
Oh, yes.
And maybe you want to, since you're up there,
Just a reminder, Sylvester has breakfast next week. Okay.
since you're up there, wait, before you ring the bell, tell them why we're presenting the check for Project Lift the Bridge.
Yes, we did the fundraiser at the American Legion, and we had raised $550. And that $550 we will present to Dr. Eggleston for the program called Lift the Burden, to help us pay the bill for food service that parents could not afford the students' meals. We're trying to bring that bill down. This is our second donation to that program.
Did you do the raffle already?
No, not yet. We'll do the raffle later.
Okay.
you know, the associate superintendent got like 300 hits on
Oh,
our
I probably know this one.